Hey, how's it going everyone? I hope that you are all having an amazing day. Old School RuneScape just dropped an update that includes things like a buff to the Nightmares loot table, as well as a possible fix to the Highscores system problem that has been going on recently. So we're going to read over all of the patch notes, but do me a favor, and if this video helps you out in any way, shape, or form, then drop a like on it, because every single like helps me out a ton. But without any further talking, let's get right into it, talking first about the buff to the Nightmare loot table. So they say in the patch notes, the horror isn't over yet. Nightmare fans will be pleased to hear that her loot table has been buffed a little this week. You'll notice that all the normal drops now come in greater quantities, which will increase the income made from each fight. There's also a greater chance to receive a unique, and the unique drops are now split across 2 different tables. If you are strong enough to be eligible to receive a unique, you'll also get some bones to indicate how well you've done. The tertiary drops, such as the pet, are now static unless you're the MVP, in which case you'll have a 5% better chance of getting one. Finally, the rarity scaling has been removed, so now a 1% chance of a second unique roll will be added for every extra player after 5. For example, with 80 players in a group, there will be a 75% chance of a second unique roll. Moving on, we're going to jump into what they say about the high scores list and a possible fix that they made for it. If you guys don't know, recently the Old School RuneScape high scores have been under an immense load, which has been causing issues like the high scores failing to update or even open, and extremely long page loading times. This apparently has only been an issue since the introduction of the boss high scores, and they think that they've made a small adjustment and they hope that this is going to fix the problem. So previously, when a player who had kill counts but hadn't played since the introduction of boss high scores, the system would perform lots of calculations to figure out where they belonged on the high score table. So from now on, players who fail to reach a minimum kill count will not be listed on the high scores, which means that fewer comparisons are going to be made, and this has a dual effect of making the high scores more competitive than ever. And they're hoping that this change is going to solve all of the loading issues that they've been having, and they're going to be monitoring the situation as necessary. They also did a PvP drop delay, so they've heard reports of consistent issue in PvP where unscrupulous players will drop their valuable items to an alt upon being killed, thereby robbing PKers of their reward. To combat this issue, they added in a drop delay of 5 seconds during PvP combat and in the wilderness and on PvP and Deadman mode worlds. It will not apply to PvP instances such as Castle Wars. There is a ton of stuff in other news, so I'm just going to read over this as quickly as possible. The Penance Runner hat will now break upon death, just like the other Barbarian Assault hats. It can also be locked with the Traveler Parchment. They fixed an issue where hit splats were appearing for longer than intended. They fixed a texture bug on the walls of the Zamorakian base in Castle Wars. Mortanian bookcases are now typo free. They fixed a bug where players were able to pick up a second hard clue scroll if the clue in question was one of the 5 added in an update last year. Female characters now hold the Scythe of Vitor correctly. A warning message will now be displayed about 18 seconds before a Divine Potion's timer expires. Gems obtained from the Molk chests can now go into an open gem bag if you have one with enough space. The green tint on filled Ogre Bellows is now more obvious. If you are attempting to start a Theater of Blood wave but some of your party are still in the previous wave's arena, the warning screen will now make this more explicit. A missing apostrophe has been added to the skill guide. Pest Control now shows a healing hit splat when a spinner heals a portal, or when a dying portal causes the Void Knight to be healed. Peaches made using the Bone to Peaches spell can now be stored in private raids storage. So that's all of the updates that Old School RuneScape made today for all of you people that are doing that new Nightmare boss. Hopefully the buff to the drop table helps you out. That whole 75% extra drop rate seems really good, but I can't personally speak into that because I honestly have no idea what's going on with the new big group boss that they have going on. But that's all for me today.